to interview some of the artists, 8 artists from Céline Bureau's 2021 Spring Residency.
On est ici à Céline Bureau pour l'exposition des artistes de la résidence 2021.
We are here interviewing Olga Abeleva. Hello and welcome.
Hi.
So welcome to our interview here. Would you like to tell us a little bit about your experience for the Céline Bureau residency this spring?
Yeah, so it took me a while to set it up because I wanted to be sewing in there. And so I'm making costumes for this play, so it's still ongoing. And yeah, I was kind of trying to figure out how to use the space. Eventually I found this table for my sewing machine. So I just kept rearranging the space around. But it was great to have an extra spot to work in, even though I kept like forgetting things in one place and then like oh, I have everything here except for this thread, and then like going home and then, anyway.
You eventually got it all in one spot.
Yeah, and then it was the end of the residency. But at the end, it looked amazing.
I mean, it does look amazing. You've created something wonderful for us to feast our eyes on. Let's double back and talk a bit more about this play.
Yes. So the play is called Waiting for Splenda.
Waiting for Splenda.
Waiting and waiting and waiting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something that I've been working on for the last 2 years, and maybe will work on for the rest of my life. But yeah, it's just based on stories on these characters, kind of archetypes. Mm-hmm. And this main character, Splenda, who's kind of an enigma that everyone's trying to figure out what she's about after her departure. Mm-hmm. And then there's kind of different iterations of the play, like they're based on these stories that I wrote. And then I'm just starting to like do little performances. But eventually, I want to go to Broadway.
Eventually, we're getting there. We are getting there.
So there's like different tiers. Like, yeah, it could be. Yeah, essentially, it's a franchise. I'm trying to franchise this world. So it can be kind of like a fashion show, or these separate performances, or eventually, it's all going to come together on a stage. Or
okay, well, and we're actually going to be seeing something on a stage here tonight.
Yeah.
Is that right? So let's talk a bit about that, and specifically the costume that you created here during the residency for tonight's performance. Mm-hmm. So I saw it looks a bit devilish.
You could say that.
You could say that. Is this one of the characters is the devil Splenda?
No.
No.
No, so there's, the main characters are manager, mm-hmm. who's manager, Polly, who's a driver, Penny, who's the baby sister of the driver, and then there's 2 mother figures, kind of angel and devil, mm-hmm. And then there's also a bunch of Italian matches. Anyways,
I'm intrigued.
Yeah,
I am intrigued.
But yeah, the 2 mother characters, they're the more supernatural characters, but they still exist in this urban environment. So they kind of hang out with everyone else, and like they still have to get a job in the basement.
Such a great.
Not to give anything away.
No, okay, no spoilers. Can you tell us a bit about the other work that the viewers can see here at the finissage as well? It's a painting.
Yeah. So I used to be a full-time painter. Now I've kind of scattered
bits and bobs around, absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah, a couple years ago when I started writing these stories about these characters, I was making paintings about theater. So I started having characters in my paintings that would that I would revisit in different ones. So it stopped being just about this one image and moment. It was kind of like soap opera, like the way that I would paint is the way that I would watch TV. Like there would be kind of like storylines and characters that would reappear. And So yeah, that's one of the paintings. One of the first paintings that I made related to the play. It's called Splenda's Day Off.
Splenda's Day Off.
Yeah, playing cards. And yeah, what was the question?
Well, you've answered the question. I'm getting sucked right into this world that you've been creating for years.
Yeah.
And I am just so blessed to be able to get a sneak peek of it.
Yeah, it really is a sneak peek. Yeah, I can't tell you exactly when the whole thing is gonna.
That's
well,
right.
there might never be a conclusion.
As some things don't
I
conclude.
love cliffhangers.
Yeah.
Open endings.
Me too.
So yeah, stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
To be
for that.
continued.
To be continued.
Yeah.
But we're gonna get a huge, juicy piece of that tonight.
Yes.
Thank you so much for your time, Olga.
It's always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure. And we'll be right back to interview La. Thank you. We are here with La Lin. And hello.
Hi.
Can you tell us a bit about your experience at the Céline Bureau's residency this spring?
Yeah, so I started 2 months ago, and then using the space mainly, there's the material itself and the tools, and then I borrow the sewing machine, and as well like this photo studio. I've used this like quite a few times for personal projects and for the actual residency project, but mainly because there's access to everything you need. There's even club lights.
Well, you heard it here. If you're looking for a residency space, talk to Céline Bureau. Let's talk a bit about the work that you're presenting. So, one fun note that I've heard here is the Tyvek. So, as one of your mediums, can you tell us a bit about the Tyvek paper that's the construction sort of paper, and you fit that into your work?
Yeah, so there was a roll of Tyvek left behind by previous residents. And initially when I came here, I was looking to draw and use different types of papers, but then I saw this Tyvek, and years ago, I wanted to do a project with Tyvek. So it's also really interesting, the material, because like the longer, even though it's kind of still like not very sustainable, it's made of plastic obviously, but because it was upcycled, I wanted to repurpose it more and use it kind of as like, I don't know, like the skin of a house, or like the skin of a bag, or like as a fabric.
So yeah, jumping off from there, the medium of your work sort of transforms based on the context. Is that right? It's something that you can wear on your skin, but also it's available to viewers and people experiencing it as in other formats, on paper and books. Is that right?
Yeah, so I dabble in a lot of different mediums. And yeah, like currently, or like in the past few years, mainly working with like creating my own artist books, like printmaking using screen printing, woodcut, and other printmaking methods. And then recently, because I don't have access to printmaking studios, I've been doing more like tattooing and like more like stuff with directly on the skin. So it's really interesting to now move on to kind of like using Tyvek and sewing it for these water bags, which I don't know if it's related at all, but it definitely, there's a tie between all of them.
It sounds related.
Yeah.
Talk a bit more about the context of your work and sort of where it comes from to place it onto these bags. What am I feeling? What am I taking from you when I experience one of these bags?
I think the process of it, I initially wanted to make something more intricate, but then of course I don't have the technique. Like this is my first sewing project, so like looking at one of the easiest patterns to make, and then replicating it a bunch of times. And yeah, like we're gonna hang them with the water dripping and above the sink. So it's interesting the play with the materiality, and of course the pattern. It's me redrawing the pattern several times, but without really like tracing it. So you'll find the details, like you'll see each one being extremely different, but they all look exactly the same.
Okay.
Yeah, so also it's interesting the actual like sewing of it. Like I've incorporated the thread into the art as well. So like I sewed a pocket, but the thread of the pocket is left like uncut. And I did a zigzag pattern because it was fun to look at all the patterns on the sewing machine. So the zigzag pattern is also like a part of the actual, like it's not a hidden seam, it's shown, and it's orange. So cool. And the like actual drawing is with orange as well.
Well, orange seems to be your color.
Yeah. Summer color.
It works. Is there anything else that you'd like for the viewers to know about this show or about your work in general?
This show specifically, I think I was just playing around with this material that I haven't really played around with, and more making, I think I've been doing so many things like on the computer and like intricately, like as small objects and on the skin. It was nice to branch out a bit and play with this material. Definitely interested in the future to investigate more with like ceramics and like other types of materials as well, but definitely this was a good balance in COVID, especially when like I didn't have much access to produce 3D artworks.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Very resourceful and on the go, and just sticking your concepts in there. It's very inspiring and I'm excited to see it. Thank you, love.
Yeah, thank you.
Merci beaucoup d'avoir été des nôtres et merci à tous les résidents de cette édition 2021.
Thank you so much for coming to stop by. We'll see you next time at Céline Bureau.